last session of the day. This session is on financial inclusion, leveraging modern technologies and payment systems. We have our panelists and the session chair with us here. I'll invite Mr. K. Shivaji, Principal Secretary, Finance Expenditure, Government of Maharashtra, on stage. Sir. Then I invite Dr. Dinesh Tyagi, CEO, CSC E-Government Services, India. I invite Mr. Arun Thukral, MD, Credit Information Bureau Limited, CIBIL. Sir, we invite you on the stage. I also invite Mr. Subrata Gupta, CGM, NABARD, on stage for a panel discussion. I invite Mr. Ram Rastogi, Head, IMPS, NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. I also invite Mr. L.M. Deshmukh, DGM, Financial Inclusion and SLBC IT, Bank of Maharashtra. And I also invite Mr. Aditya Jha, Vice President, Vakrangi. With this, I hand over the session to our session chair, Shri K. Shivaji.
May I request the chair to kindly see to it if like all speakers can speak for maximum 8 minutes and avoid any PPTs. That's a humble request to all of you.
Thank you very much, Guptaji, for a very simple task you have assigned to me. And that too at the end of the session. But nevertheless, as usual, especially the bureaucrat says, I will try. So let me welcome you to this particular session once again. To all our audience, we have a heavyweight, distinguished panelist. I think without much ado, I should straightway go ahead. I request respected Dr. Dinesh Tyagi sir to go ahead and keep
I won't take. Thank you very much. What I'll do is I'll just throw some issues on the overall concept of financial inclusion, how the scenario looks like, what are emerging trends, and how we're going to mitigate these issues and challenges. See, financial inclusion has 3 components. One, of course, is the banking, the insurance, and pension. And as part of the Common Service Centers scheme, we have actually created the format for the Common Service Centers to do all the 3 components. The first is the banking correspondent model. We use a technology called kiosk technology, and today 12,000 Common Service Centers are using BC work for all the public sector banks. And to your surprise, that these 12,000 centers is not a single fraud. And let me share with you, in the banking industry, every year there are 600 crore frauds. So the kiosk technology has really proven that you can, in rural India, in remote location, can still work out a solution which is fraud prone. Then what does it do? It is also true that before we started the CSC scheme and the CSC engagement at BC, there were already about more than 1 lakh business correspondent. And the recent study by Reserve Bank shows that about 50% of these are non-functional. The point which even has been now recognized that the business correspondent as a standalone model is not a commercially viable proposition. The second thing which has also been recognized that the business correspondent of a mobile nature is also not a workable solution. That means this is the last discussion only a couple of days before when the finance minister had a meeting and the banking division had discussed with all the CMDs of the banks. These 2 points are very clear. That's why the new scheme which they are now working out as saying the business correspondent for a bank has to be static. That means he is to be located. And preferably, the operator has to be from the same community and the same village. And to this model, business correspondent, the CSC fits in. Common service centers are actually operated by the village level entrepreneur who belong to the same community and come from the same village. His credibility is higher. He's supported by a government scheme. And he's also operate and open to some kind of a supervision monitoring mechanism built in by the state government. So therefore, he's more credible as doing a banking operation. Now, what are the constraints? See, as you say, the technology, of course, is evolving, and many of the banks still adopt technology and stabilize the process. But to our surprise, the banks use BC as a target approach. RBI said, I have to fit this service area, I have to fit up these villages, first 5,000, then 2,000, and this is all going on up and down. So the bank's vision of business correspondent is not a business model, it is still a target approach. And this is what we're saying. The only two banks which are exceptions, I must share with you. State Bank of India, which has actually realized that business correspondent is a business for them. The first year business out of BC model in State Bank, which is the pioneer in kiosk technology, was 500 crore. The second year it became 1,500 crore. Third year it became 5,000 crore. There is no other sector in the banking industry which has shown a growth of this nature, and that's why State Bank of India said business correspondent in rural India is a business for us. The second bank which is now aggressively pursuing is the Bank of Baroda, with the same model. And these two banks are the one which are not bothered about any SSA approach, what they call the service area approach. I can give an example of a particular state in State Bank of India has appointed all the CSCs as business correspondent, and it has got a single branch. The difference between the BC and the branch is 200 kilometers. And that is the great about technology. You can have a branch in America and you can still operate business correspondent in that rural India. That is the great thing about BC. So fortunately, things are simplifying, but still they're complicated in the sense that the form which is to be filled up for opening an account in some banks, it is to present of a branch manager. I don't know why they want. It's the opening of a bank account, a 3-page form, plus filled up into the branch manager account. If with the UID and eKYC, we can open a bank account, it's great. It's phenomenal. Don't move a piece of paper for opening a bank account. And we are proving it. We are proving with insurance because IRDA has supported. IRDA said any insurance policy done through CSC will be without a movement of piece of paper. And everything is UID linked. We will not deliver any insurance policy which is not UID linked, which is not eKYC. And that's why we are building the model of eKYC. If insurance can do, I'm sure the banks can also do. The only problem in banks is to integrate with the core banking solution, so the account opening is automatic. I also was talking, I'm surprised, why do they issue a passbook? There's no need to issue a passbook. See, you can open an account and person can take a printout and keep and staple all those documents and it's become a passbook. So the printing of passbook and all this can disappear. We can simplify life by doing this. If the simplify process, the BC can really be a great viable model for doing financial inclusion. The second is the insurance. Insurance, today 3% of the population in India has insurance coverage. And rural India is pathetic. It's impossible. 60 years of independence, you still have to struggle. Where do you want to go down the line? IRDA has brought out specific guidelines saying a common service center operator will be a broker and not an agent. And he will sell insurance products and services of all 51 companies. We are now tying up and linking up with them. Today we collect premium. See, today is pathetic in the sense that people have policy but don't know where to do with the premium. 1 out of 4 is only renewed in this country. And who has been cheated? Agent has sold or missold, and the person who has bought the policy has been cheated because he has no facility to go and make payment. Today we do CSC. I don't know why the CSC operator collect fee. We collect about 35 lakh rupees of premium for LIC every day. That's our collection. Why do people collect? Because even if LIC pays us only 5 rupees as a commission, which is the lowest, and LIC being so monolith, they said, you forget, I have 10 lakh agents, you have only 1 lakh CSC, I'm not going to differentiate, and therefore don't want to listen to our problem. But still there's a collection issue. You can do insurance. We collect now for 5 insurance companies, premium collection, and we're going to do for all the life insurance companies. Premium collection, we do insurance selling and product, and we will do through incentive mechanism and not through forced selling. Agent do forced selling and mis-selling insurance, which is pathetic. So we are going to avoid this and create a model of a different nature. The third is the pension. See, today is pathetic. We all retire and get pension, but what of the man in a village when he becomes 60, there's nothing for him to survive. National pension scheme by the PFRD is a fantastic model for creating unorganized sector pension tool, which is very good. For our CSC operators, we are now incentivizing them sufficiently because we give them money in advance as commission. And we have told them if a CSC operator does 1,000 pensions in his area, he gets 75,000 rupees every year till from 18 to 60 years. So his business is assured. It's a good scheme, social benefit, a commercial model for CSC. So we have all the 3 components of financial inclusion, banking, insurance, pension, and then can reach and achieve the objective of the greater community which we do. PFRD also need a lot of simplification process. But see, any simplification in a process with UID link, I can print a card of PFRD and give to that guy. Why do they need form, signatures, scanned document being sent across? This is hell. We need to get this mindset out. It's our account, you need to only identify. eKYC is required for people to, even pension account or insurance is only for identification. There's nothing better than UID as an authentication mechanism. There's no other document you can take from anybody. Signature document also can be fraud, but there's nothing better than a UID. If they all look into UID, allow people to simplify, do it, we can cater to a large majority of Indian rural people and enable them to really derive the benefit for financial growth. All World Bank reports shows financial growth, and therefore our penetration of finance is so low. If we can concentrate and focus and simplify our procedural part, I'm sure framework like common service centers can help you to achieve larger objectives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we request Mr. Arun Takral, MD of Credit Information Bureau.
Well, good evening, everybody. I don't know how many people know CIBIL, but we started off in 2004 with just 13 members and 4 million data. The evolution has taken place when we're talking about data management and data thing. We are over 350 million records in consumers, over 19 million in commercial, over 10 million in mortgage, and we also have a fraud repository. So we have 4 repositories, consumer, commercial, mortgage, and fraud repository. And we believe, that we have built and set a credit infrastructure for in India. And just to remember, in our days, we didn't walk into the bank to ask that we want to buy television, or we want an auto loan or housing loan. They were traditionally only lending to the corporates because they had some printed information, they knew about the company. So we believe that today the retail is the growth engine for economy because CIBIL has played a role. It's a relatively new concept as a credit bureau in India, but we have evolved over a period of time. There's a 21% growth in credit in India from 2010 to now in 3 years. So penetration is there, and how do you increase the expansion is by including more and more people to be able to get credit, and that's where CIBIL is playing a role to try and do that. So we have been able to do that in retail. We would be liking to do that in commercial as we grow, because that's where you will grow. The banks will also grow without compromising and the asset quality, so that their delinquency and NPAs come back. Just to share with you, when there was a global meltdown in 2008, the NPAs had gone up to 8% in retail on things like credit cards and personal loan. Today it is less than 2% across the industry. So that's happened because they worked with the credit information and take prudent decisions before they walk into and give credit. Yes, I agree that we have to, there's a long way forward. We will have to get into MFI database. We would have to, actually I was talking to NPCI, talking about they are looking at, going into, below poverty line, the database. So we're going to start working there, and we might be working with them very soon so that we can build that data and also include those people, so that when they are talking about at least 5,000 OD has to be given to them. I think that's where we will be able to play a role. I couldn't agree more that UID should be the unique ID for people to be identified, because as he said, anything can be forged, but if your thumb is there and if the person gets the total biodata of the person, there's no reason that you cannot start financial relationship. And banks going forward, I think, would look at it if they want to grow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Takral Sahab. Now we have Mr. L.M. Deshmukh from Bank of Maharashtra. Bank of Maharashtra is the lead bank in the state of Maharashtra.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll stick to the time. I'll just mention a few points on this. Very recently, Government of India has come up with a Sampurna Vittiya Samaveshan, that is a comprehensive financial inclusion plan. And this is yet to be launched because Prime Minister will be announcing this program on this 15th of this August from when he will be giving his Prime Ministerial speech, sir. In this, actually financial inclusion we are implementing since last 2005, since 2005, but now some focused area have been changed. Earlier in the financial inclusion, we were having a village as a focus area. Now the family has been made as a focus area. And apart from opening of the account, the credit also will be made available to all the families which are going to open the accounts in this program. So, then earlier we were not concentrating much more on the urban financial inclusion. Now the urban financial inclusion will also be added in these things. Financial literacy is a very important area which was not integrated. Financial literacy was going on its own way. Now the financial literacy has been integrated with the financial inclusion, sir. And now, this micro insurance just now, sir, has said, micro insurance and Swavalamban pension has also been introduced in this, and the entire program is to be implemented in a time-bound manner. You know, around 42% of the population of the India, that means out of 24.67 crore families in India, around 10 crore families are not having accounts. This is definitely as per the census of 2011. Now, since last 3 years, bank have taken a lot many initiatives by opening the accounts, but still, it is presumed that around 7.5 crore families are not having any account in any bank as on date. And in this 1 year, that means 15th August 2014 to 15th August 2014, we have to cover all these 7,500 families. In Maharashtra, the position is a little bit better, because in Maharashtra, this position, out of 2.38 crore families, only 74 lakh families are yet to open the accounts. That comes to around 31%. And in Maharashtra, we'll be doing that because as on date, we hope that we predict that around 45 lakh families are yet to open the accounts. And with the introduction of around 13,000 BCAs, which are going to be appointed in the Maharashtra, we'll be in a position to cover all these families. So, this entire exercise is to be done with the help of BC model. You know, BC model is a backbone in financial inclusion. And these BCs are extended arms of the banking industries. Even though they are working in a rural area, they are not sitting in the branch working, but they are a backbone. They are integrated part and parcel of this banking industry, sir. But earlier, when this BC model was introduced in 2006, the authenticity of BC model was in doubt. The people were not confident about the BC model, but now, over a period, after 5 years, 6 years of operation, this is now authenticated, and everybody is no doubt based on this BC model, sir. BC is working with a biometric authentication only and with a AEPS technology. This AEPS technology, this is going to create a revolution entire in banking industry, sir. You see, as on date, banks have now performed on all the banks are performing on a CBS platform. You can withdraw in some branch, for some other branch also, but this is a branch banking. Then came ATMs, where you can now withdraw from any bank's ATM from your account. And now this AEPS technology is so advanced. In case of ATM, the customer is required to come to the ATM, but in case of this financial inclusion BC model or AEPS technologies, the bank, that is customer is going, BC is going to the customer. This is a more customer-centric technology, and this is why it is creating it will be creating a revolution in the banking industry. Just now, sir has told about G2C, that means business to the government business to the customer. And in this case, this will be a B2C model where the bank will be going to the customer, sir. And it is every possible because this can be possible immediately with the introduction of interoperability. There are some challenges in the implementation of this BC model. This first challenge is definitely a sustainability of the BC model, and the BC should be sustainable. The attrition rate of BC is very, very high, and he is not getting the desired income or a sufficient income to stay in that business. So simultaneously, it should be affordable to the bank also. That also part should be taken care. Then financial literacy is also one of the challenge in that. In the rural area, people doesn't know why to open the account in a bank. So the financial literacy will take care about that. Then cash management in the rural area as well as in the urban area, it is also a big challenge in the implementation of this BC model. The connectivity issues are also there in the rural area. In most of the part of the state, the connectivity is there, but the eradication of the connectivity is there. In many cases, the connectivity is not available when the customer comes there. So this also needs to be addressed. Then Aadhaar seeding. See, bankers are having around a 65 crores account all over India, but the Aadhaar seeding is, as on date, something around 12 to 15 crores. Around 20% only accounts have been Aadhaar seeded. Another 75 or 80% accounts are yet to be Aadhaar seeded. And the sensitization of the field staff, just now I told you, it should be my branch manager in the field. Still, I must accept that they are not happy with this BC model, and we have to, as a banker, from the head office level, we have to sensitize this branch manager. And with this stabilization, everything will be okay. As on date, I just visualize about this AEPS technology and BC model technology that earlier, now we are not seeing the coin boxes were there. Every 100-meter point, the coin box was situated. And after 2-3 years time, that means after the stabilization of this AEPS time, I am visualizing the similar situation where every micro ATM will be situated at every 100 meters distance, and people will be able to withdraw their amount from a banking, from any ATM of any bank, and from anywhere in India also, because there will be a interbank operability. And this is what I am seeing. And in that case, if all the customers starts the withdrawing from the bank, that means at a ATM center, I doubt what will be, how many customers will be there in the branches. I doubt about my job also. I do not know what will happen there. But as on date, I think that at that time, I'll be using my branch work as a sales network. That means a sales showroom of just like a car, where the cars are being sold in a sales room, whereas the servicing is being done at some service center. In that case, I'll be using my branch work as a sales room and my BC point as a service center. With this, I'll be stopping here. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Deshmukh Sahab, for your very frank and blunt view. And I'm sure probably this may provoke some sort of counter questions, so which probably it will be solicited. Not now, let us complete the whole thing. Otherwise, Ravi will hit me hard. So next we have the speaker, Mr. Ram Rastogi. May I request Mr. Ram?
Sir, I am from NPCI. When you talk about payment, when you talk about movement of funds from one place to another, when you talk about Aadhaar-enabled payment system, when you talk about ATM-based payment system, we are there on the back-end side, like an unsung hero, and we do the entire back-end system. We do about 20 million transactions a day, and we are ready, gear up to do about 50 million transactions, right? Other seedings are, we did about 12 crores, but Aadhaar was stopped for so many reasons. Now we are committed to do 65 crore people who are having with us. Let me tell you two things now. Cisco video we have seen where we said technology should be the betterment of the people, and we are committed to provide technology which is safe, secure, simple, robust enough. $1.46 trillion, which is the direct benefit transfer, which is going to happen through us, emanating at 8 billion transactions in a year. 8 billion transactions, I'm talking about, is a big deal. We are ready to do that from one side. Other side, 145 million households are going to have account. If they do one transaction a day, 145 million transactions will happen. Sir, Tyagi sir has said, what is use of passbook? No, sir, there's no use of passbook. We are here. We have developed a USSD-based platform, *99#, where the customer can simply dial this number and we can provide them the balance and last 5 transactions. We are with you, sir. Let's work together. Takral Sahib is there, Sybil, we are working together. We are committed to build the nation because we believe that if a good payment system in the country can increase the GDP by 1%, $285 million can be saved if the government receipts are digitized. Agrawal Sahib, we are with you. I was just now listening to Mr. Muthu Krishnan sir, he's a commissioner Narega. They said 600 crore they are distributing. T plus 3, T plus 4. I just calculated, I'm a banker, 1 crore 65 lakhs can be saved if the money is shifted through NSCH or IMPS. You get the money, people clear, and you save this much money, sir. So use our services, be happy, serve the nations together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ram. Now we have Mr. Subrat Gupta, CGM NABARD.
Respected Chair, respected panelists, respected audience, I think it's an August gathering which I have here. But it's a very serious one actually. So I would rather start with a joke which I just now received on WhatsApp. My daughter sent me a message who herself is a teenager. Google is 12 years old. You can ask whatever questions you want for one more year, because after that, Google is not going to listen to you, because Google is going to become a teenager. Now it was something on which I laughed, but then it struck me suddenly that here is a technology which we have got so used to it that it feels as if I am using Google from my birth. I mean, it is something without which I cannot live. Technology is there everywhere now. We cannot avoid it, and technology is the base of financial inclusion. I fully agree with that, and I think Ram Rastogi ji and others also are working on the same lines. But there is one critical point which we are missing out in this, and that is what I would like to focus in my discussion here. And that is something which I have learned by implementing core banking solution in 201 banks of cooperative banks. When we go to the field, there are three components in this. One is the technology provider, the technology part of it, the infrastructure part of it. You have the user on one hand, and you have the recipient on the other. Now, when we talk about technology, we are talking about providing the technology. But when we talk about the person who is going to use that technology, I think the focus at certain points of time gets missed. It takes time for a person to get used to using a technology itself. It doesn't come just like that. A simple example with respect to IMPS, which Rastogi ji is leading, we, in collaboration with GIZ, conducted a field study, and we sort of a pilot which we did for a microfinance institution to get all the money routed through IMPS methodology from the borrowers. The study, we found out that it takes something around 3 months for a rural person to get used to even just feeding the right numbers in the right way so that the money gets remitted or transmitted to that particular account. I mean, he is basically repaying all the loans he has taken. Now, this is one part where perhaps a lot of investment and a lot of work has to be done if we want financial inclusion to be really successful. I think one of the points mentioned by one of the panelists was with respect to the fact that there are certain technological problems which are there. That is the other part of it which I would like to talk about. And that is the main one which I have found, at least in these banks, these cooperative banks, who have branches in far-flung areas from Ladakh to Andaman Nicobar Islands. And I'm talking about these banks, they have faced tremendous problems in connectivity. I mean, it is day in and day out in these places that connectivity becomes a problem. In one of the places in Arunachal Pradesh where we were implementing, they got desperate and they said that, okay, fine, we will go in for a leased line connectivity. When an evaluation was made, it was told that it will cost something around 13 lakhs to put that line on that particular place. Now, given that kind of a cost of technology, if the technology may be there, but I cannot have that prohibitive cost to serve small customers in rural areas. So there is a requirement that we ensure that the connectivity part of it is taken care of very properly in rural areas. Otherwise, financial inclusion, the way we are thinking, the way we are making it technology-based, may not serve the purpose the way we want. Second thing which I would again reiterate is that there would be a tremendous amount of need for capacity building, both for the person who will be using the technology at both the ends, that is, the person who will be delivering and the person who will be receiving it. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Gupta ji. It was a wonderful presentation, especially since you are in the micro sectors, microfinance sectors. It is quite valuable views you have given. You, no, you are doing the. Don't do it. Okay. Now we have the next speaker, Mr. Aditya Jha. May I request you, please?
Thank you, sir. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, panelists. Um, Most of the points is already been covered. I would just like to add something about this financial inclusion. What I've seen in last 7 to 8 years when the financial inclusion started, there was not much awareness in the rural areas. What it has happened actually, initial stage, there were a lot of chit fund company and NBFC. People do not have the trust to come to the BCA location and open an account. Today, I can say that today people have the trust because in every outlet where the bank is putting their own signage board, that gives the first trust to the customers. Second, technology has, the way the technology has improved, like Aadhaar-enabled transactions today we are doing it. That is really going to help the customers because the customer need not have to open an account at my outlet, BC outlet. Customers can only give the Aadhaar number and can do the transactions. So these are the plus point today technology is providing. The most important thing which I would like to say over here, since the inception when the FI started, nobody bothered about this last mile, whether the last mile is really viable or not. So he was losing the interest, and then that is why the attrition rate was so high. I would like to say this about this. I am from Vakrangi. Vakrangi is in e-governance business for more than 2 decades. 2010, we got a mandate for Common BC in Maharashtra and for Rajasthan state. We have implemented this our technology with the help of the bank. And what I learned actually today, because every bank, it is mandatory to have the FI gateway, which was not there earlier. Earlier, it was offline transactions, so reconciliation was a bigger challenge for the bank, as well as for the vendor who is providing this technology. Today, everything is happening on the online basis, so there is daybook reconciliation is happening on a daily basis. So this is the best part of it. What Vakrangi has done, what it was not done earlier, we have tried to create a model. We are still innovating in the BC outlets. So what best we can provide them so we can retain those agents at our locations. So what we did, apart from the banking, like Tyagi Sahab said, we have provided the B2C services like he's doing the mobile recharge, dish recharge, new disconnections, electricity bill payment, and being the #1 Aadhaar vendor in India, we are also putting the Aadhaar stations. So if the person do not have the Aadhaar, can have their Aadhaar enrollment. Once the Aadhaar number comes, he can do the seeding, Aadhaar number seeding also. So these are the things we have innovated, and we found that apart from the banking revenues, he is also earning certain revenues from different pockets. I would like to say one point over here, because Vakrangi is also, we have a partner with LIC. When we started the micro insurance in the rural areas, one of the district in Thane, my agent has done 172 micro insurance in a day. And later on we came to know that this LIC has a target of micro insurance only 40 in a year. 40 in a year. Whereas we have done it 172 in a day. So like new government, new initiative like NPS and micro insurance is going to certainly not only help the BCA. And more importantly, when we started this outlet part, we have appointed agent on a GP level, Gram Panchayat level. And today we can say that we have a X number of agent who is covering of X plus plus something kind of village. Suppose if I say 100, Vakrangi has a 100 agent who is covering 500 village. Ultimately, what is important for the agent, how many village he is covering, what kind of service he provide, is the villager are happy or not. If you provide all B2C, G2C services, that gives the confidence to the villager. It is a one-stop shop for them. And I'll tell you, we are very closely working with the Bank of Maharashtra. I'm fortunate I'm sitting behind with Mr. Deshmukh Saab, and we have done the tremendous work for this Bank of Maharashtra. Though the number of transactions is low, but the volume was still very high. So with that, I think most of the point is already covered. So I have nothing to say more. Thank you very much, given me the opportunity to sit and talk to. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jha. Ravi, you have seen the performance. You should not thank me. You know whom you will thank me. Whom you will like to thank, I will give you the observation. The only change what has been brought over here, that all earlier panelists, they used the PPT. And this panelist, they didn't use the PPT. So the PPT was the culprit. You got it? It does not mean the technology is the culprit. How you use the technology and how focused you are using the technology gives you the result. This I am not saying. Tyagi sir has been saying all through. In fact, in the similar things, just to make the discussion little more participative. You know, the earlier presentation, there was a slide which says that the largest rate of death was taking place when people were in the hospital. Some of us, from the statistical bent of mind, can say the hospital is the cause of death. So, how we see and what are its significance, how it is going to be translated, those things carry more significance. Since we have a more or less captive audience, because now outside it is raining, nobody can go, we will take some more time. I hope. And since we have performed quite well. See, I will, few observations which I will like to make further, just more on the provocative type, so that it can trigger more and more questions. Probably will clarify some of the doubts which is prevailing in some corners here and there. You know, the financial inclusion we have been talking about quite in detail. But financial inclusion is only in the financial sector. Tomorrow, when we achieve the financial inclusion, then we will start talking economic inclusion. Then are we interested? Is this a strategy of going ahead incremental is going to work? Think over. This is one very important thing, because you know the India growth story, especially post 1991, almost everywhere India is shining, but large number of people in India are saying, I'm not getting the sunshine. Is it not the story? To some extent, it is again provocative. It is not that I am just giving you with the empirical evidence which I have, but large number of people, they are saying, I am not getting the sunshine, but still their story is zooming up. Everywhere we are talking about, with all respect, even our GDP numbers are growing. Of course, in the recent, whatever the turbulence which we have seen in the financial sectors, and this, if this is discounted to some extent, because minus China, our growth rate is still quite superior to many other countries in the whole globe. The center of gravity of the entire globe is now inching towards India and China. So there are several factors which is contributing in terms of the global trade, global finance, global economy, but still large number of people are saying that I'm not getting sunshine. There is a party going on in the street, but large chunk of people say, I'm not dancing there. Why it is happening? Should we not think little deeper? That is the reason the PPT and other issues which I just thought to cite it and think deeper. Normally, whenever we see, very few people make the things happen. Another small number of people also know that things are happening. Like in the government, large and large number of things are happening. But who all know in the public? We have such a large number of population. They don't know what is happening. Few people are making it happen. Another few people are knowing that something is happening. But large and large people, they don't know what exactly is happening. They are far away from as a participant. The India growth story with the fever is going high and high every day. Still we are beating the drums on many fronts in the tangible results. I'm not talking about just on the sentiment which right now which has surged ahead after this new government which has come in the center government. Now what is the reason which is happening that they are not becoming the participant of the entire growth story? Because our discussion somehow it has been confined more in the segmented space where we are attempting to achieve the financial inclusion. This is the first broad questions. We'll request, of course, the panelists to interact to some extent because we have a time. Now, the second thing, few more questions I will like to just put forward here. The technology has made the whole world flat. With a click of the mouse, $1 billion are getting like a wave of the ocean from one part of the continent to the other part. Every day it is happening. In all the financial institutions, especially, it is now getting all button driven. Why this is not getting translated down, and within India, India is not flat. Internet has made the whole world as biggest leveler. In India, despite having a tremendous soft power, we have the labor arbitrage, cost advantages, abundance of brain power, ready to use talent in every nook and corner of the country, especially up to, let us say, up to the semi-urban area. Still we are not able to see to it that people are participating together and bringing at least some leveling in that context. Required little deeper thinking. Now what is happening, the next questions which I am just trying to sound it. Traditionally, our observations are the financial sector especially works more on in the known circle. It builds a confidence. Once you know that you are trustworthy for me, then only I will lend you money. But why on the deposit side you are not interested to go ahead? On deposit side, it is his money, he is going and bringing it. But still you are saying, no, 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 don't come. On a lighter side, which I can tell you, somebody went to the bank and he was putting his torn notes and giving on the trailer. The banker, the branch manager is saying, no, you will not be permitted to put this particular note. He said, damn thing, it is my account, it is my note, I am putting in my account, still you are objecting? Who are you? I'm just, these are the things which I'm just trying to provoke from the different perspective that why this type of phenomena which is persisting. Little bit of the explanation of this type of the psyche which has been prevailing, institutional psyche I'm talking about, not this individual psyche. The institutional psyche, traditionally the financial sector has been driven largely waste template driven. We have not devised our own concepts. And as a result, it works again, the known devil is better than unknown devil. Because the unknown area you can take, you can venture only when you have a better risk appetite, or you are ready, you are optimistic. So both are missing here. You are interested to be area where it is highly conservative, known area, known circle. How will you be able to change the institutional psyche? That is the key rock which need to be shaken first. This is, strategically, this institutional psyche need to be thrashed, removed, and then bring about the regime change. Which, again, second, banks, unlike any other institution in India till now, or many other places, have been given this tremendous sense of the competitions. The financial space even now are not, sorry, Deshmukh Saab, you may disagree, but still there is a need for more and more competition among the banking and the financial sectors, which will improve the internal competitive gain. The quality of service will improve. The urge to overreach will get generated. Why not we go to the rural area? Large chunk of the people are still not coming in the financial fold. Formal financial fold still far away. It is like a dreaming. Reason, second reasoning, I prefer to have only the cream, cherry picking, wholesale. Traditionally, everybody was, most of the banks, again, sorry, I'm eliciting few points so that, we can discuss from that perspective also, as a devil advocate. Traditionally, many of the banks, especially nationalized banks I am talking about, when the private banks were not there, the competition was almost near to the negligible. We were busy basically corporate funding, very simple plain vanilla financial products, not venturing ahead with any of the new diversified products and instruments which can help a lot. Again, similar psyche is now getting translated. Now what is happening? That the particular segment, particular space, now financial products are so sophisticated. But even the simple product like a deposit banking, withdrawal through ATMs, cash transfer is not getting generated. In village and rural area, still what they are doing? They are putting the cash in their utensils, isn't it? And many times the rats are taking away those notes also. So that type of the psyche need to be changed, that whether regulatory change which is required or not, this is the second broad discussion point I thought I should put across here. Third thing, because Tyagi sir and a couple of our colleagues have worked more on the IT side also. The IT space and the financial sector has tremendous sense of synergy, because finance works best on numbers. IT is the best solution for numbers, best number for accounts. But still, till now, the extent up to which the IT interventions should have been undertaken in the financial sector are still lacking, whereas IT has transformed certain sectors exponentially. Why this type of transformation is not taking place in this particular space? The next one, which I think one of the panelists has already mentioned, unless there is a interbank portability, the transaction portabilities, the transaction, why one should go to the bank where I have account over there only for any purpose? It should become bank neutral. Make it bank neutral. Now wherever everybody, then the synergy will increase, and that type of the, a share, an objective will be achieved. Now, fourth point, mobile banking. When in India, every nook and corner, when the India telecom story earlier also I mentioned, when it is so successful, why can't we piggyback on the mobile? Fortunately now RBI has already come out with a differentiated banking license regime and is pushing hard. Then let us at least one part of the banking activity which is required for the rural area, where simple thing, I will put my money, I will withdraw my money. It is my own money. You are not giving OD, you are not giving cash credit, you are not giving any other financial product. They are not interested in any other sophisticated business model. This simple activity, unless it is now made on the inverted pyramid with the business model for the financial institution more on the bottom driven, retail based, technology reliant, probably this dream will be still quite far off. So sir, these are the 4 questions. I don't know whether, these are all provocative observations which I have tried to put it across to some extent without, unlike being a bureaucrat. So now I will throw open with some whatever.
Sir, very nicely you have pointed out, but then what Tyagi sir has said, out of box thinking beyond the regulations. thinking beyond the bureaucracy, thinking beyond everything, how to help. BC model, Tyagi Sahib pointed out, that BC has to earn 10,000 rupee a month to sustain. Interoperability, sir, let me tell you about an NPCI. We connect 360 banks. Bank like Citibank, Standard Chartered Bank, HSBC on one side. ITs, everybody is working in silos. They don't talk to each other. I don't know why. The moment we start talking to each other, the moment we collaborate, we co-create, we create a wealth, we create, everything is possible, sir. Everything is possible here. I speak to when Rajesh Agrawal, sir, so many things we have done together. The other day, sir has talked about that they want the clearing house for all the government departments. It's already there. When you talk to vendors, I'm sorry to say, they try to keep everything with them and then regulate outside. It's a cost to that. Earlier, why the CSCs were not working, sir knows about it. Everybody wanted a card, a smart card. It's not required. The plastic is not required. The vendor wanted to create depository and create with us. And that's why CSC was not working. Tyagi sir is aware and he talked about that. So we have to really come out from these things and create a bigger thing, and the best way of doing it, connecting Bharat with India. As long as you are keeping it abroad for any reason, nothing is going to work out. 146 million households do not have the basic banking services. One of the prime ministers said, 17% the benefit goes to the people, remaining goes elsewhere. We are here with the help of Aadhaar, providing entire 100% to the account, but somebody has to create an account. The banks has to be given a business model for that. Charity doesn't happen for all the time. We have to create how the government is playing a role. They make it a mandatory to open account, or the machinery is working with them. We have to really answer these questions, and then things will start happening, sir. We all are together. We have to work together. Thank you very much.
Anybody? Yeah, anyone? All well that ends well. No, all well that ends well. Please ask some more question. Joklingam, you can't go away with that.
Yeah. Sorry? Yeah.
How do you compute the CIBIL score? Do you also consider the period? That is,
Yeah, we
for
do.
longer
We
period.
do the age. Aging also. You see there,
Aging.
we have created an algorithm which has a lot of variables, but basically which works out is that, how old is the account, what is your utilization, and, how many products do you have secured or unsecured products. All that combined gives you a score.
So longer period with good credit record will give you more score.
Oh, absolutely.
Joklingam, you like to have? No. Attention bandwidth has to be increased. That is the way. And most of the decisions, crucial decision takes place only at the 11th hour. So I think we must close it down. Ravi, where have you gone? After seeing our performance, I think he is...
Hello. Sir, one question. Like we have been talking about financial inclusion. And I might be wrong, but what I could perceive is that it is working in a push kind of a mode, where the government is trying to get them in the ambit of financial inclusion. So the basic issue is, like as a layman, as a villager, if I come and ask you that what am I going to get out of this financial inclusion? I mean, even if you create a bank account for me, how does it help me? Because most of the people are really struggling for 2 times meals. I mean, he's no more, how does it help him even if he's having a bank account, he doesn't have anything to put in the bank account. So probably unless we create a pull kind of a mechanism where he sees some benefit for creating an account and to get himself pulled into the financial inclusion, I really don't see the purpose.
I 100% agree with you, because somehow, in fact, this is one of the reasons that we are not able to achieve the wholehearted, full results, because we believe in pushing the things. Rather it should be, in fact, I was commenting just before this session to one of our colleague, I think participant, that we should create an appetite. Once the appetite is created, motivation is generated, people will run after you. Why you are interested, like Three Idiot movie, that you are interested in pursuing a degree, उसको काबिल बना दो, फिर काबिल तो अपने आप सारी दुनिया को ले लेगा. So that type of creating a pull mechanism is required to achieve the wholehearted achievements. That is what I fully agree.
Just a small point. See, there are two things. One is, of course, you're right, which Shivaji also mentioned. But there's also a critical thing of called an access point. See, today, after 60 years of independence, we have 35,000 rural branches. And we have 250,000 villages. So one of the reasons of why people do not want, see, that's your perception, that he doesn't have, that's why he doesn't open an account. The women, at least in the village, will not open an account because there's no access point. So even if you by push or pull create an access point, you're actually adding a value to it. It's a phenomenal value added. But that's the way the government works. Otherwise, the banks in 60 years have created 35 branches. They will take another 100 years to create these branches unless you push them through.
Just one more thing I would like to add here with respect to the point which you mentioned. If I link up with whatever is being tried through Aadhaar, that is basically ensuring that whatever is supposed to be delivered to the person actually goes to that particular person. The poorest of the poor are the first who need to have an account. Because without that account being in the bank, it will not be electronically delivered to that particular person. And it is because of that the delivery, the percentage which he was talking about, that 17% actually ultimately goes down. That will not happen. It will be at least a major chunk of it going down to him. That is what is going to happen only if he has a bank account. Now, for that, that is one of the reasons. The other point which I mentioned earlier, there is a need for capacity building, and that is what I think you are trying to hit upon. A person should know actually what are the benefits I am going to get by opening an account. And that is where the financial literacy comes in. We have stepped into it. We are giving support to the regional rural banks as well as the cooperative banks for setting up financial literacy centers even at the block level, so that the people can be explained as to how and what are the benefits of having a bank account and what are the benefits of keeping the money in the bank. So these are some of the things which I thought I should.
Yeah, please. This will be the last one.
Yes, sir. Okay. One final comment. Like regarding, we have talked about the issue of financial sustainability for the banks in order to like create the requisite infrastructure in terms of maybe ATMs or BCs or whatever is required. So as sir has mentioned just now, that to remove the bogus beneficiaries and to get these incentives to the right people, probably we'll have to break this vicious circle somewhere. Like for example, proactively, say if we say that by removing the bogus beneficiaries, we are going to gain 20% savings. So somehow 20% should be seeded as a, to create the sustainable model whereby you proactively government intervene and give this kind of incentives to the BCs or the banks to create this infrastructure, and then once this are weeded out, probably it gets into self-sustaining mode. So this government will probably need to break this vicious circle of getting the sustainability issue, addressing the sustainability issue.
Great. I think you had a very good pertinent observations. Now I must thank all the panelists for. You like to something?
So regarding these beneficiaries, you are mixing the DBT with financial inclusion. This is the basic, the beneficiary and the bogus beneficiary, this is basically from the DBT side. Financial inclusion is a more elaborative subject, and where we require to contact each and every beneficiary not the, of the any government scheme. He is a beneficiary of any type of a credit, or the main purpose of a financial inclusion is to inculcate a habit of saving amongst the rural population. Just now sir said that the people are still keeping their money in the vessels. The basic purpose of this financial inclusion is that financial inclusion and financial literacy also, that the first thing with a financial literacy, he should be made aware that some banking facilities are made available in the rural area, so that he can deposit the amount in that. And even as per the RBI guidelines, 25% of the branches are to be opened in the rural area. This basic has come only for the purpose, because if we open any branch in the urban area, nothing happens, because the sum of the deposits from nearby branches are coming to that branch. No new savings has been created from Government of India point. But in case of a rural branch opening, the new saving, that means the saving which was not lying in any other bank, is coming to the bank, and that is the basic purpose of this financial inclusion and opening of the branches. Thank you, sir.
I must now thank all my panelists. They have been quite forthright, straightforward in giving observations. I hope the audience must have benefited despite being delayed against your freedom. So I must thank you once again to all the audience, organizers, our panelists, EGOB, Ravi, Rajesh Agrawal, all our friends. Thank you.
Now I request sir to present mementos to all the esteemed panelists. And before that, I would like to announce that our annual event, FIPS, a Global Conference on Financial Inclusion and Payment System, we do it in September. Last time we did it, and Dr. C. Rangarajan inaugurated this conference. It is being participated by various PSU banks and various banks and financial BFSI sector stakeholders and government departments. So I will invite all the panelists and all of you to participate in this event, which will be happening in New Delhi in September, around 19th of September. So I'll request all of you to please join us in this event. The Minister of State, Government of India Finance, that time he was also chief guest, and these are the people who participated in FIPS event. Thank you, sir. And now I request sir to please present mementos to our esteemed panelists. One moment. Dr. Dinesh Tyagi. Shri Subrata Gupta. Shri Arun Tukral Sahab, and Ram Rastogi ji. Deshmukh Sahab. Shri Aditya Jha. I will request Dr. Gupta to present a memento to Shivaji sir also for a good performance. Yeah. Now, a group photo is requested. We request for the group photo. And after that, we have a session, IT implementation in PSU. And believe me, it will be a very knowledgeable session, because we have PSU representatives from around various states, and